What's good, y'all? Marcus Frazier from Teachable Tuesdays here to motivate you, encourage you, and inspire you to be a better you. Thank you for joining me today. Greatly appreciate it. As always, if you could, please hit the like button, subscribe button, and notification button so that way you can stay up to date with all of my future Teachable Tuesdays content and all that good stuff. This video has been long overdue. I was supposed to release episode 2 last week, or, well, episode 3. Did not have a chance to do that. I don't know what in God's green earth happened. I think my phone was acting crazy or something like that. And yeah, nonetheless, we are back with the New Life series, episode 3. And today, it's going to be a very short episode. It's going to be just a continuation on things that I talked about in terms of the past. And then after this episode, we're going to move on to, some present things, some things that are currently going on in my life. Videos are going to be formatted a little bit differently, at least for the series. My traditional discussion videos are still going to be under the same format to some degree, but I'm going to be showing you guys the present because, of course, we got to go to the past and go to the present and talk about some of the things that I want to get into in the future. So, again, as always, if you like the content you see, subscribe, hit the like button, notification button. So continue where I left off at. I think I left off at what, my college days, how things were with me in undergrad. If you missed the recap, you might want to go back and check that out. But me graduating from Bethune-Cookman University and then eventually graduating, not just with my bachelor's, but also my master's, and eventually moving on to Orlando. And my life in Orlando has been, because I still live here, very interesting to say the least. A lot of transformation, if you will, a lot of true growing up. Because you got to understand, leading up to the time that I was in Orlando, everything was kind of like sheltered to some degree. Because, I had jobs, I was working, but I was also in school, and the school was kind of that safety zone for me. I'd have a job, but I'd have refund check to help me out with the job, even not the job, but the school stuff and all that good stuff. And then once I got out of school, I was kind of just on my own. Like, this is it. This is the real world, focused on getting my own place. Of course, when I moved to Orlando, and I've told this story time and time again, I started off with 2 jobs, Circle K and Crystals. And actually the summer before that, I was a bouncer at Razzle's nightclub in Daytona. And I also worked at Family Dollar. And I was a lifeguard, very briefly. I ended up quitting not too long after I got hired because I just really wasn't feeling it, and I felt like the leadership, unfortunately, was a little bit lackluster. I am a very big component of having good leaders, and when I'm at a job where my leader is not good, it makes me kind of want to just abandon the mission, if you will. You know what I'm saying? I can't be somewhere where the leader is not understanding. So that was my problem with the whole lifeguard job, per se. But anyways, once I moved to Orlando, I just noticed like things really started being different in terms of my relationships with people, the way that I connected with people. I felt like some people that used to be in my life were no longer there, mainly because it was just a new chapter, you know what I'm saying? And I was actually growing up and coming into my own as a man. And when that happens, oftentimes you have to understand that, everybody can't go on your journey, right? So a lot of relationships that I had with people ended, which wasn't a bad thing. I mean, of course, I was a little bit disappointed at the time when it did, but I understood that it was ultimately for a bigger purpose. So while it did hurt at the time being, eventually I was able to get past it because I realized that, there's a bigger picture beyond all of that, right? So that was the case for me. I started teaching. I taught middle school for 3 years and took a break because in 2019 I actually started going to UCF. And then a year later I started teaching high school. I was a substitute. They hired me as a long-term sub eventually, and then hired me officially not even a month later to come back that next school year. And I've been at that high school ever since. So I've been at the high school. I'm currently teaching that for 5 years. And, again, these past, I'm going to say 4 or 5 years have been absolutely insane. In a good way, not in a bad way, in a good way. just the transformation for me as a man and the lessons that I've learned, how much I've grown on a spiritual level, mental, emotional, and physical level. Just developing the mindset of being on my own and understanding that this is what it's like to be a man. To ultimately do what? Figure it out. To ultimately do what? Be the best version I could be on a daily basis. You know? And it hasn't always been easy for me. It's still not easy now. But I think I've gotten to a point where I've become more comfortable in who I am and what I bring to the table for myself and also for other people. So it's an amazing thing to just be at this place now where I can honestly say that life is great. You know, living in Orlando has been really dope. I mean, of course, I've had my up and down moments, as anybody would, but nonetheless, I appreciate every single good and bad moment that I've been through because it's taught me so much, especially finally being really on my own, if you will, you know, not being able to rely on other people, but having to really just trust God and rely on myself. And that doesn't mean that, you know, I did it all by myself. I most certainly had help, but getting to the point where I'm at now is definitely a lot different than when I was in undergrad and when I was in grad school. And I kind of still had that shelter. There is no shelter for me now. And that's kind of what inspired me to want to do this New Life series. To understand that I have to constantly be evolving. I have to constantly be changing. I have to constantly be aiming to be a better version of me, right? I can't remain stagnant because if I remain stagnant, what's going to happen? I'm never going to get anywhere. I'm never going to be the man that I want to be, the man that I need to be, the man that I'm supposed to be, the man that I'm supposed to be, not just for myself, but for the people around me. Because you got to understand, as a man, we work. And we ain't just working for ourselves. We ultimately are working to be in service to other people as well. So I think living in Orlando by myself all these years has taught me that. And even when I was living with other people, for example, my roommate Cato from a couple years ago, RIP to him, I still had the mindset of, hey, I know who I'm doing it and who I'm doing it for. And, you know, first is the man upstairs, then it's myself, and then it's the people that are around me. And I've learned so much. I've been taught so many lessons. And I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for it all, you know. So that's a little bit about the past. I told you guys this video wasn't going to be long. Next week, we're going to hop into some futuristic stuff. Well, not futuristic. I keep saying futuristic. We're going to hop into some present things for the next couple of weeks. I'm going to show you some things that I'm aiming to do, how I'm, you know, going about changing my life from a physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and also academic standpoint. So you don't want to miss it. Stay tuned. Again, this is Marcus Frazier from Teachable Tuesdays, here to motivate you, encourage you, and inspire you to be a better you. Love you guys. Hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.